So today we're doing the level 73 dungeon, Dohn Mheg. This is probably one of the most more exotic one in the lineup, and we have Thancred, Minfilia, and Urianger as healer. So those groups here are fairly tricky, particularly these Fuas have an ability which we see being casting called Water Wheel, which is actually very powerful. So let's be careful. I'm pulling two groups. I would say just do the group one by one. It's easy enough. So Urianger is a much better healer than Alfino, so actually this was pretty smooth, even for one group. So we'll try to get two groups with the next one. We can only get one group here, so continue there. So we've got to get the next two groups. See if we can survive. Going to grab this one. Tancred is almost dying here. Probably keeping alive. I think is really tough. Seems to have stabilized. Right, he was quite close. You see at the beginning of the fight, they have the buff from the Fua, and I think gets a lot of damage. Oh, almost dead. Alright. Still made it. Okay. We're going to arrive at the first boss. So the first boss really has only one ability you need to be worried about. Is going to um, have a phase where he pops some water on the ground that you have to avoid. I think there's a trick to avoid it, so this is the only thing that as a DPS you need to care about here. Let's see where it goes. Got a tank buster here. The hydrofall need to be avoided quite easy, and he's going to now start his main ability very soon. Here it is, start loafing leap. So he go in the middle of the arena like this, and he casts Lance Blood. So Lance Blood is going to have some. You have to look at the ground and put it. So we first the blue have two stages. First, they are ready to. You can see they are ready to they grow and then they explode. So there's like two phases. So we'll show it next time. I think the thing to note here is that you have to be away from the exploding ones. The exploding ones being the one that grow to a more distant phase. I get advised that you pause the video and watch it, make sure to understand it. You have to move really fast. There's a stack marker here. Again, so loathing leap. So you're going to see that the first that appears when he casts the ability are lighter, and then like this one on my left, and it becomes bigger, and now it's going to explode. So the trick is to go to, if you see one exploding, you go towards it, because the one that just exploded is always safe spot. So go where it explodes. And if you do that, you're guaranteed to be safe. So avoid the first explosion and then go towards the one that just exploded, because when you just exploded, it's safe. We'll do it one more time. Stack marker is on me, so we go towards the middle a bit. Buster here. Okay, Lance Blood. So we avoid the first one. We're here. This one's going to explode. Mine explodes. We go on the where exploded. What happens when you get hit? This one is exploded. This one exploded, you follow it. This one exploded, you follow it. See, if you just go to the one that has just exploded, then you'll be safe. And this is the only mechanic in this fight, besides of course the stack marker, which is quite easy to follow. So this is the only thing to actually do. Now we're going to finish him. Stack marker here in the middle. Remember the trust NPC always takes stack marker in the middle. You have to go to the middle to take the stack markers. Alright, we finished the first one. This group also hit a lot. I think we can take two here, but we'll see. And some bees. Right, we're getting there. Clearly it was also very close. Tancred was quite close to dying and he's taking many poison stacks here. Alright, I think now we're good. We have only the bees mostly left, which is not very strong. Alright, 2 groups done, 2 more to go. There's a chest here just next to the leaf that go up. I'll take it. So we're going to take this group one by one because they do hit quite a bit and they do AoEs. I'm a bit worried that it may be too ambitious to Alright, finishing up here. Almost done. I think we can get the next group. Another Fua. This Fua can be interrupted, by the way. So you can, if you have a class that can interrupt, you can interrupt them. See the skill at the top for Watering Wheel. So it's a very powerful damage buffing spell that he casts on the trees. Almost finished. So the next boss has 2 important mechanics. One which is easy but is very important. Otherwise, you know, you will not pass this fight. And one which is a little more difficult to execute, but typically the others can help you. We'll see we'll try and see what happens. So here another chest here. So on this one, it's important to spread out a bit around him. You're going to see why. So try to make sure you are spread out versus the others. One's ability, the triangle attacks, pretty easy to avoid if it targets you. So this first ability is very, you have to be in one of the, on the ray, obstructing the ray like this. If you miss this twice, you will lose. So it's very important to take your own ray and make sure everyone in the party has a ray. So you see, this one actually, I took one and somehow Thancred wanted it. And I think if it's the case, you have to take another one. Because everyone needs to have a ray, otherwise the boss gets 2 buffs on him and you will actually lose. Alright, the second ability is coming there, Calling Ivy. You're going to be trapped and you have to target the coil around you and destroy it. If you don't destroy it, then this ability will then target you and then, you know, not kill you in one hit, but I think, you know, that will give you a stack debuff, and after twice, failing twice, you will lose. So these are really the 2 things for this fight you have to know as DPS. It's relatively simple. We're going to see them again happening. Calling Ivy is coming back. Again, we're here. Look at the character. Every character is getting fighters and the roll around it, and you have to destroy this. Target and destroy it, otherwise you can't move. And now is the second one with the ray. Again, you obstruct one ray. Make sure you hold it. It doesn't touch the boss, it only touches you. Calling Ivy again here. Again, this is going to cast. You're paralyzed. You target your own Ivy and you destroy it. One attack is enough to destroy it. If you're a DPS, very simple. If you don't do this, you will be targeted and be hit very hard. Almost over. Not sure if we'll see anything else after this. Calling Ivy one last time. Again, look at this. He casts it. Everyone gets paralyzed. You target your own fainted root here, and you destroy it. And then you take one of the feathers. Alright. So, not very difficult as long as you do those 2 things well, right? Which is 1, taking the feather to make sure it's on you and not on the boss, and 2, kill this Calling Ivy that paralyzes you, or prevents you to move, to be more accurate. I think then it's quite easy. Now we're at the last part of the dungeon. The chest here. And then the fake prize. can only be one group. This part is pretty long because you almost have to do every group one by one. Here there's no choice because you need to kill them to advance. So it's not possible to pull two groups here. Then the next they hit extremely hard. You cannot take the two groups together here, it doesn't work. But you can take the one which is patrolling in the middle. I think I advise you actually to pull it together with those others so you can kill them together. Otherwise it will attack you while you are in between of this fight. Putting the two groups here is extremely difficult. I think even in normal parties, I think if you don't have a great tank or a great healer, you can wipe here by pulling everything together. The damage is really high. So it's usually one that you want to be very careful about here. It's not an easy double pull. Some AoEs to avoid here on the ground. Huh? The ores target the random people. Alright, now you have the second group. You see the Nyan also has AoE, so if you pull the two groups together, you'll have the Orsa's AoE, you have the Nyan AoE, you know, there's a lot of AoEs, and I think that's one of the challenges as well to do double pull here, is that there's a lot of AoEs and then the people struggle to avoid them. It's pretty narrow space, those corridors. There's now way to avoid it here. Again, if you're doing random TTS, you just take time. I think there's a last group is there. Another Fua and then two Naiads. Again, more AoEs here from the Naiads, so just be careful, stay a bit away and avoid any secret AoE that comes on you. Like this, move out. You see I'm switching to single target when there's only two left. Normally when there's only two, doing AoE is no longer efficient, so keep that in mind. Alright, now we are arriving at the final boss. So there's a few mechanics here to keep in mind. One which is famous for being tricky. Actually, I'm interested to see if we need to do it properly or not. to win. So we're actually we can try to fail it and see if it works. I think it's quite simple. There's AoE, tank busters, nothing to worry about. Tank buster. It's actually probably as an AoE. You have to avoid the eye, turn around, and then it turns toward you. You have to go behind him during this one toad score, otherwise you'll be transformed into a toad. Into this again, another creeping blow, that's the AoE. Remember that when you see the eye on him, turn around. Alright, the first mechanic is coming. And it's a very funny one, where he creates this, and you have to walk through it without falling. So I don't know if Thank It is cheating here, you can't do that, you have to walk all the way. And if you don't walk all the way, then I think at some point he will cast a ability that kills everyone. So here we crossed all the way, but I'm curious to know if he will manage to kill them without you helping. You see the finale is working. And they're going to do it by themselves. So actually you don't need to help them. You don't need to cross, you can just wait on the other side and they will do it for you. So worst case scenario, the trust NPC for once is delivering, doing this mechanic all on your behalf. Now the phase 2 is it transforms itself in this big sort of giant monster, right? So this monster has two abilities you have to avoid. We're going to see them. The first one is corrosive bile, like this. You have to be on the side or behind when it does that, otherwise you're going to take this ability and it does a lot of damage. And the second one is you're going to see his tentacles going up. It's going to be happening soon. Like this. Tentacles are up, you have to be somewhere in between them. Because if you're not in between them, it would arrive on your head and it hurts. Again, corrosive bile again. You have to go around. Avoid corrosive bile. Alright, it's finished. Now there's a series of tank busters happening, so just focus on damage. And we may have an eye coming soon after the series of AoEs. Yeah, Imsho, you see the eye, you have to turn around on the eye, turn around. And then you have to be behind him during the toad. If you are within the toad area, you'll be transformed into a toad. It's not really lethal, so if you're hit by the toad or transform into a him portal, it's not the end of the world. Crippling blow, that's the tank buster. Series of AoEs here. We're going to arrive at the last phase. So we're being slow on DPS, so we are going to see the last phase. It's not something you would see if you had Imsho again. Turn your back, and then remember, immediately in its back. Okay, I will stop attacking here so we see the last transformation. So the one is a bit of a joke. Um, it transforms itself in this very weak form of a toad, and then you can just finish it. So it's a bit of a joke at the end. If you survive to this point, then fight is over. This is it. That was Dohn Mheg, the 74th, level 74 free dungeon.